This episode of the Blucifer Brothers, a special Super Bowl edition. We're running through our 58 favorite bets. We're drafting them. I'll have 29. Ryan will have 29. We don't need any further ado. Dan, play that funky music. 3, 2, 1. We are coming to you on a beautiful Wednesday night here. The electricity is palpable. Ryan, it's Super Bowl week. It's a beautiful, beautiful week with which we can gamble on bets that are normally not available to us on really stupid things, but that I will care an immeasurable amount about on Sunday. How are you doing, buddy? This is a beautiful week.
I am so excited. This is one of our, really, this is truly arguably where the podcast was born. Is these phone calls where we would talk for an hour about, or maybe 3, about our Super Bowl
This
bets.
was 3 children. We'd both be walking a dog, and we'd just go around our respective neighborhoods until we had come to some conclusion about how we were going to bet here.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time of year. We can't say that you should be doing this. Like, be responsible, I think, be responsible. I know that face. I guess my real...
But you should be doing it.
Yeah. Honestly, when you can bet on the length of a national anthem, when you can bet on a coin toss and get screwed by Vegas on the VIG, do it. What are we talking about? Do it. Like, of course, do it. It's so much fun. Like, this is supposed to be fun. Sports are supposed to be fun. Gambling is a great way to increase the fun factor for sports and make you care about things that you normally would never care about. It's how I've become, I don't know. Well, I was pretty much a fan.
You are today?
Yeah, I was going to say I was pretty much a fan of everything before I started gambling, so I can't really say that gambling made me a fan of the Tour de France. I was going to watch the Tour de France no matter what, but
it's a beautiful thing though when you walk into your Super Bowl party and you're like, "Hey, what do you got? What are we cheering for today?" Right? And as long as it's not conflicting with you, right? Then you just don't announce that to your buddy who's said his thing. But if you're if you're aligned, oh man, you guys are in there together. It just makes the whole thing so delightful. You're eating a lot of appetizers and you're yelling at the TV for the last time in a long time that we get to care about football.
One thing that I can recommend here, and this is speaking again from personal experiences, you really should be careful. If you're going to a new Super Bowl party, maybe test the waters. Like, don't be like your boy and whip out the notebook that's full of bets that you made for the Super Bowl where you hand wrote everything so you could keep track. Maybe talk about 1 or 2 of the, 30 bets that you've made and sort of test the waters and be like, are these gambling people, Because the last thing you want is somebody who doesn't know you judging something on you betting whether, Von Miller's going to score the first touchdown. You're losing your shit when he recovers a fumble at the 1-yard line. Like, it's a tough intro is all I'm saying. So just be careful out there in terms of the other people around you.
Yes, we will be watching the Super Bowl together as a podcast. I am hosting my Super Bowl party again. I am attempting a Chef David Chang meat. I'm going to be cooking this meat for over 6 hours. I've been kind of obsessing about it. So I'm going to have some delightful meats for you guys, and we're going to have a welcoming betting environment. So you don't need to worry about that in this case, Ryan, but good advice for the people out there. So this podcast, very simple. Ryan and I, we're just going to alternate bets until we get to 58. And Dan has compiled a beautiful spreadsheet for us. We are going to keep track. We are going to assume that these are all $100 bets. They're not all $100 bets. Trust us on that. But it's the simplest math for us. So take what you want from this.
They're way more than $100. These are all $1,000 bets.
That's right. And you know what? Unless you are a real man and you're providing for your family, you need to bet $1,000 too. Cut that for YouTube, Dan. That'll do well there. based off what I've seen. Ryan, I am behind in the playoffs. I have bet against Patrick Mahomes every step of the way, and it has not been profitable. I am going to take the liberty. I'm going to go first here to start our draft, and I'm going to take it off the board here. This is probably my favorite bet. McCaffrey to score 2+ touchdowns. It's plus 410. This is boosted on FanDuel. So if you're looking on a different sports book and you're like, Kyle lied to me, I can't find this, go to FanDuel. It is plus 410 on there. The Chiefs have been weak against the run. McCaffrey also has the opportunity to take a screen here. He runs slant routes. He runs everything. Also, before he went down with the neck, he was taking all of the snaps. This is not going to be an Elijah Mitchell game or one of those. He's going to get the carries. They don't want to put this game in Brock Purdy slinging this thing around. I promise Kyle Shanahan is not going to do whatever Taylor Swift mind tricked Harbaugh into doing and not running the ball. I promise he's going to run this thing. And so I think this is good value. Plus 410. I think it's the best value on the board. So I'm taking it. I know it's a longer odds one to be taking off the board early, but as we continue, you'll see my game script really plays into Christian McCaffrey having a good day. So I'm taking this one off there. I want it. Plus 410. That's where I'm going, Ryan. Who's your baby that you've been waiting to have?
First of all, I love that pick. That's a great. I mean, we're talking. These are the slam dunks. I really love that value. It might not be a slam dunk in any real way, but that value is great. A lot of Super Bowls have multiple touchdown scorers, so you're barking up a tree that's historically good, and you're barking up a tree that's historically good with a historic running back. So I love the logic there. And while we do disagree, I think, slightly about the game script, I love that bet. So I think I'm going to take something off the board that you're also going to love. We've been going back to this well numerous times throughout our betting career. We used to get better odds on this, unfortunately, but we have not been blessed by the betting gods with those type of odds. But I'm going to do it anyways because it happens. I'm going to take under 1.5 yards as the shortest touchdown to be scored. That is a minus 135 wager. You're paying the juice, and there's a reason. It happens almost every time. So, yeah. We're talking value. I think there's value in that, even though it's a minus odds. So that's my first pick.
This is a great pick, Ryan. And it's a thing out there for the gamblers. It's too often new gamblers, they say, there's only value if there's a plus in front of the number. I think this number should be minus 180. So I think you're getting great value at minus 135. There is absolutely going to be pass interference here. Snead is a very physical corner. The 49ers committed pass interference all over the place against the Lions. And if you're a conspiracy theorist and you think that the Chiefs are destined to win because of the referees, well, guess what? They're probably calling one in the end zone, and then you get a 1-yard touchdown. And both these teams are pretty good at pounding that in. And I hope that it's the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey does it. All right. I'm going to my next one on the board here. I love this one. I am going to take the 49ers first half no push. So you have to go into a this is a three-way one. So it can't be a tie. Obviously, the Chiefs cannot win, but you get the 49ers plus 100 here in the first half. Every Super Bowl the Chiefs have played in, they have gotten down. They were down to this 49ers team famously by double digits in the second half. They were down to the Eagles in the second half. They were down to the Bucks. So I think this is a team that traditionally gets off to a slower start in the Super Bowl. I think that the 49ers just have an easier game script with which to score points. I think that they have a lot more talent on offense. And I think that I trust them to come out on fire blocking, Trent Williams with the boombox, all that good jazz. So plus 100, I love those odds there. It's minus 1.5 if you take it against the spread. So I'm getting plus money for something to just have it on a money line. Even if it's 14-13, I don't have to stress about it. And so I like these 49ers in the first half. I know you're a little bit more hesitant about that, but that's going to be my second pick.
Yeah, you are correct. I'm more hesitant on that, but Godspeed to you. I'm not going to be taking the Chiefs on the opposite side, so I'll be happily rooting for that bet, unless I decide to do a little double result later, which I haven't decided yet. My next bet off the board here is going to be sort of an interesting variation of your number one pick. I'm going to take McCaffrey to score in both halves. It's plus 450. I see him sort of punching one in early, and then they're going to be running the ball, I think, in the end of this game if they're leading, and he is likely to score another one. So I'm going to take that at plus 450, not even boosted, so you're getting a little bit better value just to bet that he's not going to put both of those in the first half or the second half, I guess, if you're that sort of better. But that's my next pick.
Yeah, I like this pick as well. No matter what you think the game script is, like I said, they're not going away from McCaffrey. And I don't think this Chiefs offense is so high powered that they can go away and hide from this 49ers team. So I don't think it's going to be I don't think either one of us thinks it's going to be like some 21-point margin or something to where maybe you're like, oh crap, maybe McCaffrey's out of this game script in some way. Also, he's so prevalent in the passing game that he still could get it in both halves. So I like that one a lot. I'm going to go. I feel like I've been so 49ers centric. I'm going to take something away from you here. I know. I'm going to take Mahomes, no interception. This is minus 105. It's kind of insane when you look at Mahomes' stats and when they just stopped playing Stone Hands Tony and the rookie so that they could stop tipping the ball to the defensive backs. Mahomes just kind of stopped throwing picks. He was like, hey, actually, all of my passes were on target. These morons just kept throwing it up in the air to the other team. Mahomes hasn't thrown one against the Bills, hasn't thrown one against the Ravens, who famously are a very good secondary and also had forced the most turnovers in the NFL. I don't think that I think this game is going to be tight. I think this game is going to be low scoring. And so in that game script, I don't see Mahomes making mistakes. And so I don't see a pick here. I think that this new Chiefs offense also, he's not going to throw it 50 times like he did against the Bucks. They use Pacheco. They use all of that. So minus 105, it's a little juice, but under that normal minus 110, I feel like I'm getting value. And I feel good about Mahomes not throwing an interception in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on it. I kind of disagree with just the overall game script situation you're playing with here, because if the 49ers are leading, he's just going to have to start throwing to some of those guys. Like, yeah, so I don't disagree with you, but it makes me a little worried. My next pick off the board here is going to be, I think, sometimes you just have to like bank a little bit of bankroll for those live betting opportunities later in a game. So I'm going to be taking McCaffrey under 7.5 yards on his first reception of the game. This is minus 110. I think the Chiefs defense is going to be toned up to, they're going to come out firing on all cylinders. I could see this actually being a loss. Like, I don't see him getting, I mean, obviously he's explosive as hell, so he can break a run anytime, but I'm going to take that, the flyer on that this Chiefs defense is going to be really keyed in on McCaffrey, especially early in this game before they're tired from him running over them every down. I just see this being a pretty clear under. So I'm very happy with this value on the board.
Yeah, this is a great bet for you. A lot of times Purdy will do the old Russell Wilson, where you have held onto the ball probably 2 seconds too long, and he just throws it out there. And because McCaffrey's incredible, he catches it, and
But
he
you
probably
almost
makes
wish
the
that they
first guy miss,
wouldn't. Yeah.
but it's kind of in triple coverage. So you're like, oh, he gained 2 yards. That was incredible. So I agree with you. I don't think they're going to run a lot of their like slick trick kind of run like pass plays for McCaffrey. I think he's too, like you said, they're too keyed in on him. I have another player in mind for that. So I think you got good value there. I like your bet there. I am now going to get in on my first same game parlay. I am going to take Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. So he just has to score one of them. And then Kittle over 3.5 receptions. I think that the Kittle is going to be an underutilized or an underthought about weapon here. It kind of, the Chiefs don't give up anything over the top, so I kind of think that makes it not a big Ayuk game, but it means that there's routes underneath and there's holes underneath, and you can just run those little quick stick routes that Kittle is good at getting off the block, and then he's 5 yards. And so I just think he's going to get the quantity here to go well over 3.5. And I'm actually getting plus odds with this. So I'm getting that to plus 129. So I like this one. We've talked about Christian McCaffrey ad nauseum. And then Kittle, I think it's him or Debo who is going to be the one who you want to be looking out for on this offense. I don't think it's Ayuk.
Kittle's just always good in big games. He kind of has that in him, and he also has that old guy or like the old car in the garage sort of deal that Kelsey has too, where you don't want to take it out too much, but when you do, you really want to use it. Like, you better rev that fucking engine a couple times. It might not start again. So, yeah, I think I love the bet. I love the value. I'm going to go to the other side. I also feel like I've been very 49ers centric here. I'm going to go for Isaiah Pacheco anytime first half touchdown. I'm going to take that off the board. It's plus 220. I think that there's a good likelihood that the Chiefs try to shorten this game a little bit, which doesn't make sense necessarily, but I think the more that you can put Purdy into passing positions, the better you're going to be. So I see Pacheco being a big part of this game plan. I think they're going to try to run the ball a lot and really try to protect Mahomes. So I like the value here. Pacheco scored a lot. He just gets a lot of those goal line touches now. And Kelsey's been pretty good lately in the red zone, but I'm still going to trust Pacheco to potentially get a touchdown here. And I don't think he's going to get one in the second half. So I think he's either going to score in the first or don't bet him. So that's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, he's also, it's been kind of well publicized leading up to it. The 49ers are much worse at defending the run outside than they are inside. Obviously, Bosa, Young, they like to freelance a little bit. So I could definitely see an 8-10 yarder from that range, them getting a little, jump cut outside and him going. So I like this bet quite a bit. That I'm going to kind of piggyback off of that, and I'm going to take any player to rush for over 100 yards. I think both these teams are going to try to establish the run. I think both teams are susceptible to the run. So be it Christian, be it Pacheco, I get that at minus 106. So I think that's really good value here. I think both teams, like I kind of like you alluded to, want to shorten this game. They want to pound the rock, make the other team execute at a high level, and pray that they can, force the one stop or the one mistake from the other team, and that'll be the difference in the game. So yeah, I like this one, minus 106. Either any player to rush for 100 yards in this game.
I'm okay with that. I don't think it's yeah. I get the sentiment. I think that I would be a little worried about just the game script getting out of hand a little bit and somebody having to run, and you really want that team that has to run to be the 49ers if you're betting this, because the Chiefs just have more of a split backfield and Mahomes can take off. Like, they're just so much more threatening that way. So yeah, I don't hate it. I'm going to go sort of off the board here, if I've got to be honest. What is a Super Bowl if you don't find a prop or two that you really can never find in another context? And you just sort of have to trust your heart. And so this is a trusting my heart bet. I'm going to take Chase Young to record the fastest sack in the Super Bowl. He is plus 1,200 to do this. I think he's really fast. So I think sometimes that really pays off, and he is really good at sacking the quarterback. So I think if they choose not to block somebody, and it happens to be Chase Young, I think he has a really good likelihood of hitting this. And, the people that you talk about as the favorites, I don't know if they've got it in them. So Chase Young, fastest sack.
I'm glad that you're following your heart, and that's all I'll say on that. The only thing I worry about is Mahomes is a magician, and so he somehow, just makes every sack take an extra half second, whereas Brock Purdy sometimes just poops his pants and falls down in the middle of the line, which leads me to my next bet that I'm going to be taking off the board. Chris Jones to record a sack. When we've seen Purdy be bad, it's because he's just kind of let the pocket collapse in on around him. And I think that leads to Chris Jones. Where do we see all of the hype for the 49ers? It's Kittle's a great blocker. It's Trent Williams is a great blocker. Those guys are outside. Chris Jones can go right up the middle and get to Purdy. I think he will at some point here. I'm taking in an experienced quarterback to miss, protection, miss a scheme, and Chris Jones to get in there. That's plus 132. Chris Jones to record a sack. He's the second favorite to record a sack behind Bosa. But I just think you're getting a lot better odds with a worse quarterback at eluding sacks or throwing the ball away, and a guy on the interior staying away from the strength of this 49ers line. So yeah, give me him.
All right. Now, I love that you're going to the defensive props. I love a defensive prop. Speaking of props, I am going to go for first drive result for the 49ers to be a punt. This is plus 130. I think that teams just start slow in the Super Bowl. I just don't think that they are going to come out and march down the field. I don't trust Brock Purdy to do that. I think Kyle Shanahan will probably call something like a, pass to get Purdy some confidence early, and he'll throw it incomplete. And then Christian McCaffrey will run for 3 yards, and then Brock Purdy will throw another incompletion, and all of a sudden they're punting. I don't think it'll feel bad, but I think that's what's going to happen. So plus 130.
How dare you, Ryan? I will respond with a further odds bet that I was going to leave until very late, but you've provoked me. All right. Which I'm sure, was your strategy. But you know what? Just like you had to feel with your heart, I have to feel with my heart, Ryan. And I have a bet here. I agree with you. in general, teams start slow. Not so fast with Kyle Shanahan and the boys, because it's not going to be a 3-yard run, Ryan. They're going to run the ball 3 straight times, and it might be 10 yards per. All right. They are going behind Trent and Kittle, and they're taking those boys, and it's going to be like the blind side, Ryan. Trent's going to say it was time for him to get on the bus. All right. As he's taking Karlaftis and dumping him on the sideline over there. So I am going to take Chiefs first drive punt, 49ers first drive touchdown, plus 750, Ryan. Circle the wagons. Christian McCaffrey, you will be a little bit happy because Christian will get his first touchdown in the first half that you need. He'll get it right away, Ryan. And in the house, there will be Momofuku meats for everybody when Christian crosses that holy grail of the goal line.
Yeah, I honestly thought about parlaying punt and punt, which is what I thought you were going to do, but then I realized you couldn't be that smart. So we'll agree to disagree, I guess.
My heart wants what my heart wants, right?
Yeah, well, your heart's wrong. My next bet is going to be sort of back to the basics a little bit here. I don't want to get too crazy too early. So I'm going to go under 23.5 first half. This is too many points. I just don't I don't think that there's going to be that much action in the first quarter. So I'm just going under.
I will go on the other side of you. I'll take the over here. The reason being, Ryan, we talked about it. The Chiefs have just clenched their butt cheeks and held on in these wins over the Ravens and the Bills. They can't score in the second half. Reed comes out and he basically empties the gun. So I think after a little bit of a slow start, I think the Chiefs get going. I think the 49ers have a ton of talent and 2 weeks to rest all of these guys. I think they're going to be flying around here at the Vegas Stadium. And so I actually like this to be over in the first half, and I would look at a live under for the game at halftime. I think both of these teams, I think Shanahan is going to be very content to run this thing in the second half and not let Purdy blow this for them. And I think that the Chiefs have traditionally struggled in the second half to get, even when they scored against the Bills, it was a lot of field goals. So I actually think that this is going over here. I have it at plus 100. I'm taking the over. So we will be opponents there. We'll at the Super Bowl party, we will agree to not talk about it. You know, one of us will be silently mad while the other one is silently happy.
Well, to be very clear, I really agree with your live sentiment there, and I would never take this pregame. So if you choose to bet this pregame, I'll just cheer for you.
Great.
So with my next pick in the draft, I'm going to take the first score to be a field goal. This is a plus 130 number. I think I'm just sort of building on my start slow here. I'm building on the under. I'm building on the punt. I'm building on sort of that game script that I've got going here. And I think I was sort of surprised that it was plus 130. I thought maybe plus 110, plus 115 with the amount of juice they're taking these days, Kyle. I thought we'd be getting screwed more on this.
Yeah. No, I obviously I have the 49ers scoring a touchdown here. But I don't hate it because I do have the and I'll just reveal it now. I guess I'll reveal my squares. So you can, if you want to take different squares later. I have squares 7-3. So for those who don't know squares, if you haven't done that at a Super Bowl party,
I bet this podcast has been confusing as shit to this point. If you don't know what a square is,
The idea is you get to pick the last digit for both teams. So I'm taking 7 for the 49ers, 3 for the Chiefs. I think that will be the score at the end of the first quarter. So I'm hoping to cash it out nice and early. But if the game ends 27-23, I also would cash it there in the fourth quarter. So it's a fun little bet. You can choose numbers, and it's something you can cheer for all game.
And 7-3 is it's a great number to have, and you could never get that at your local bar. Like, if you're getting that at the local bar, you have a drinking problem, is what you have.
Yeah. Or you've thrown too much money in that you better win the squares because you've bought too many squares.
Yeah, you bought a lot of squares.
Yeah, I have 7-3 there, and it's plus 550.
Plus 550. That is good odds. With my next one, I'm going to stick with my sort of like, let's make money early in the game. We're still early in the draft. I want to make some money early in the game. I'm going to take first completion for Brock Purdy to be under 10.5 yards. This is basically just him not throwing for a first down with his first completion. That seems fine. I feel pretty confident that that'll happen. So yeah, we'll keep it relatively simple there. It is it's juiced a little bit. Let's see what it is. Minus 125. So, it's, we're just going back to the basics here.
I do like this because this can make you do a very early fist pump, because in theory he could throw it to McCaffrey on third down.
You're literally reading my mind, Kyle.
And he could punt.
Let's go! Can you imagine the fist pump right there?
And you just cashed 3 bets, and you are sitting there just,
going straight to the kitchen.
You know what? Give me another wing.
I'm going straight to the kitchen.
I will have another wing.
I'm using your son's pacifier to pop open a beer to shotgun.
Hey, the Passy Fairy came, so if you find any of those, you do that in the garage and you don't show that.
Yeah, right? You're right. You're right.
That was a deep battle for us, but I would be thrilled for you. So I do like the idea of potentially you having a 3-in-1 moment, which, for better or worse, I do seek these out as a gambler. So sometimes I'm triple sad.
For worse. Almost all the time it works out for the worst.
Yeah, but it is great when it hits. That dopium hits totally different. So I'm going to now get into a bet that I've been just clenching my butt cheeks and hoping you wouldn't take. I'm going to go Mahomes under 262.5 yards. Last year, this was a absolute shootout, a super fun Super Bowl, one of the rare Super Bowls that went over, and Mahomes threw for 180 yards. So he threw for a lot of touchdowns, but he threw for 180 yards. 262 is way too high. Okay, that we've talked about it, even though we may disagree slightly on the result of the game. We both think that both these teams are going to play slow pace. Both of them are going to try to hold on to the ball. Both of them are going to try to have long drives. Even if Mahomes is out here cooking and he goes 20 of 24 and he wins the MVP and we're like, holy hell, I still think it goes under 262.5. This is minus 110. This is too high. This is where you get to, especially in the Super Bowl, you get to bet against the public. And every guy just watched Mahomes beat a Ravens team that was almost a touchdown and some points favorite. And they're like, this guy's superhuman. Under 300 for Mahomes? What does this guy average? Like 400 a game? No, he very doesn't. All right. And teams don't anymore, especially with this too high safety. It's so much harder to get explosive plays and to get those like 70, 80 yard cheap plays that really inflated QB's numbers there for a while. Yeah, I just think this is a great number. It's minus 110. I love it.
Yep. I don't have any reaction to that other than positive. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So my next little number here, I've got, I'm just going to take the Chiefs to lose a fumble. I've been betting on these a lot in the playoffs, and they are super profitable. People fumble the ball all the time. We're talking strip sacks. We're talking they are ripping at the ball these days. So you're getting this at plus 130, which to me is just great value. So I'm going to take that.
Yeah, I love this, especially in conjunction with I don't think Mahomes is throwing a pick, and I do think that there's usually both teams have a turnover somehow in the Super Bowl. The other thing here is you can get punt returns. You get guys under the bright lights trying to do things they shouldn't try to do, and making moves and getting loose with the ball. So I really like this one. Also, the 49ers are noticeably a insanely physical defense. Say what you will about their effectiveness throughout the playoffs, but they hit the hell out of people. And that's been pretty consistent. So Greenlaw or Wagner dislodging someone from the ball and from their consciousness is not out of the question here. So I like your value there. Good bet there. I am going to go with your something that you've talked about, make money early, right? I just have both teams to score in the first quarter. I think that the Chiefs are going to kick a field goal. I think the 49ers are going down there. I think this is plus 130, both teams to score. To be clear, it could be 3-3. It can be whatever. As long as both teams have points on the board here, I'm walking away. And I just think these are the two best offensive minds working today. And even though you're 100% right, Ryan, the Super Bowls always start slow. It's always a weird, build up. Everyone's a little geeked out. We're going to see some plays from these guys. And if you don't think they've been trying to out nerd each other during these 2 weeks and come up with something, you are lying to yourself. And I think that they're going to come up with some things here that would make Nathaniel Hackett's brain explode. I think both of them are going to score plus 130. Cash it in.
They're going to the gold zone, Kyle. They're going right to the gold zone.
Gold member. They're going to their ayahuasca happy place, as Aaron would say.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Got nothing to add. I think that I'm not going to necessarily surprise some people with my next pick, but I'm just going to take the 49ers to also lose a fumble. It's plus 110. So
you're just on both sides of it. Wow.
I don't think they're really that correlated. I think they're both just going to run the ball a lot and they're going to fumble it. So I think that's going to happen as well. So I'm just going to grab the plus odds on both sides.
Hey, I'm happy for you. I didn't see it coming, but I guess I should have. I am now going to take one of my favorite bets here. Longest field goal over 47.5. We're in a dome here. I think the Chiefs are the king of getting the ball inside their own 10 and somehow getting a field goal in about 30 seconds. I think they will do that at some point in this game, be it end of quarter, be it end of first half, most likely. But I think this is over 47.5. This is minus 110. I love this bet. So I'm going to take that one.
I like that. I'm gonna go a little off the board as well here. Not necessarily off the board, just maybe something somebody's not necessarily thinking of when you're thinking of Super Bowl bets that you want to make. What I'm going to do is another Super Bowl special here. You can bet on the direction of the first quarterback run. And you can bet specifically on Mahomes and you can bet specifically on Purdy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mahomes' first rush to be up the middle. And that is plus 400. So
Don't hate it.
I think those edge rushes, he's going straight up the middle, baby. We're gonna have a first drive that consists.
Do you get anything between the tackles here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then I love it because I think those guys will go wide.
Yeah. So
they can't help themselves.
You're welcome, America. This is why you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, that one is great. All right, I'm going to go for now an alternate spread for a player prop here. I have Christian McCaffrey over 125 yards rushing. This is plus 270. I think they don't have an answer for him. I don't think they're going to stop running him. I think the only thing that has kept him from consistently going over this number against a lot of teams has just been they don't want to overwork him during the regular season. And kind of what you were talking about with Kittle, now's the time, right? We're going to let this horse ride. And I think he is going to ride all over the Chiefs.
No, he's going to do what?
He's going to make Papa Ed proud. Just like Papa Ed and Shannon and Rod Smith used to beat down the Chiefs back in the day. He will make Broncos Nation proud. If you're a Broncos fan, you should be cheering for Christian McCaffrey. He's a hometown kid. We've seen from NFL films him as a kid on the Super Bowl with Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan's father. I love Christian McCaffrey. He's going over 125, 2 touchdowns. Give that man the MVP. All right. But right now I can only take plus over 125 yards, and that's plus 2.
Maybe a little tease there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the value. I do. And I love Colorado, as we know from my adopted fandom of the Dolphins. I'm surprised to hear that you love Colorado so much since you decided to just ignore Russell Wilson's previous crimes. I am going to do my first same game parlay, which is sort of it's shocking that it's taken me this long to get here.
It really is. Yeah. I'm excited to hear it.
I'm going to take Bosa over 1.5 tackles. That's minus 166. I'm going to add Mahomes over 26.5 rushing yards. That gets you to plus 186. I think Mahomes is probably going to bust one for at least 20 here. And then you're just asking him to, get one more rush. And I think that he's going to need to be. There's my logic.
Yeah, I don't hate these at all. I do think, especially Bosa, I think he just has an insane motor that he'll even get like rundowns on like tight ends on across the middle. Like he'll run them down, and so he's such a freak that I like your thought there on taking the tackles because I do think the value is a little inflated on his sack market, and so you found a different market. You son of a gun. Great work by you. And a great pick. I love it. I am going to go to the double result here. I'm going to go first to the well. San Fran up at halftime. San Fran to win the game. I think this is our first official win the game pick too. So I'm putting myself out there. I think the 49ers are going to win. I'm going to pick against Patrick Mahomes every round of the playoffs. Wow. And this is going to get me plus 135.
I was going to say that's going to get you locked up in a mental institution.
Nah, at this point, I'm numb to the pain. So I just think that the 49ers are significantly better here. I think that they've been the best team all season, and I'm going to trust that that's what they've shown me. And I think that there's some voodoo and some public money is on the Chiefs here. but a lot of the sharp money is on the 49ers here. So I'm going to join the sharps. I'm going to take the 49ers, and I'm going to bet against a man who has a pact with the devil himself, Patrick Mahomes. All right. So San Francisco, plus 135.
Yeah, I really wanted to just immediately go against you and do something on the Chiefs to win the game here, but I don't even know if I want to touch. I just don't think I have a real. For the listener who's now made it pretty deep in this podcast and I haven't picked the game, like I just don't really have that big of a conviction, So I don't disagree with you, but it's not a market that
it's Mahomes. It's terrifying.
It's not a market I'm going to be dabbling in. I am instead going to take another little flyer, you might say. I'm going to take Kyle Juszczyk to score a touchdown. He is plus 850. And you want to talk about people drawing up some shit to like give Shanahan 2 weeks to draw up some shit for Kyle Juszczyk. So he loves a fullback.
And Juszczyk is a freak athlete.
He's great. Like he could catch a pass. He could catch a pass for this touchdown. He doesn't have to be your big lumbering linebacker looking fullback. So
no. This is not going to be a fullback dive. Even.
No.
It could be pretty graceful. Yeah. I'm jealous of that one. It really threw me off. All right. I need to regroup, get my mojo back. So I'm going to take my long shot. I'm just going to get it out there before, we get to the end and all of a sudden Dan is like, hey, we're at 29. That's my fear at this point, that I don't get this in because, we're just having such a good time. So I don't take this for fear that you're going to take it. I take it for fear I'm going to forget to take it and not have this long shot on there. So I'm going to take the first quarter score, 49ers 7, Chiefs 3. This is plus 1,300. We've laid out kind of how we see this game going. I think the 49ers are going to march down. I think it's going to take a long time. I think the Chiefs' drive is going to take a long time, and they're going to settle for a field goal. And I think the first quarter is going to end. So I think, that's kind of how I see this going. It's absolutely a flyer, but as Ryan said, no other game can you bet on the exact score of the first quarter other than the Super Bowl. So
you just witnessed a man double down on his squares.
Even if you put 10 cents on it, you know what I mean?
No, totally. It's a fun bet.
Put money on
it. It's a fun bet.
Dude, just put something on the first quarter and you're sitting there rooting for it for as long as it's in play.
Yeah.
And I will be.
Yeah. I don't, I'm never going to judge anybody for having fun gambling. That's not something I'm here to do. What I am here to do is win money. And so I'm going to take the Chiefs plus 10.5. And I'm going to take the under adjusted total all the way up to 52.5. And I'm going to get that at minus 145. Sometimes you just need to lay some juice to feel really confident in a couple bets where you're not going to be like the end of the Super Bowl and you made all these fun bets that are all plus 800 and you won $20. You're like, shit, everything that I played out in my head where I was taking these plus 850s happened, but I didn't actually bet on any of the game that way. I just took a bunch of flyers. So you don't want to be in that spot. This is my hedge against that spot.
Yeah, I like this one. I think even as a 49ers guy, I don't hate getting above 10 points. And I agree that this is going to be below 52 as well. You haven't seen this number move from 47.5. So getting those extra 5 points there, I think you are getting plenty of value to only be at minus 145 there. Speaking of just getting back to basics, I am going to just have the Chiefs to make the first field goal minus 102. One, I think they're going to attempt more field goals because the 49ers kicker sucks. And so I think they're much less likely to try, even in a dome. Two, I think that the Chiefs are much more likely to get stopped in the red zone, whereas this physical 49ers team, once they get in the red zone and they have Kittle and they have all these, players, it's just harder to stop them down there. So minus 102, I'm barely paying any juice for that, and I think that is a good wager. That, like you said, Ryan, sometimes it's fun to put the plus money in there, but you have to get some real some building blocks with which you're like, hey, I'm gonna make money off of this, and then if I hit one of these long shot ones, then we'll really have a great night.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're putting down there. I think I'm really trying to decide what direction I want to go in here. And I think I'm going to go in the direction of something that I don't think you're going to like very much. But I'm going to take Deebo Samuel to have 70 yards or more. This is sitting there at plus 140. I think that this could be a pretty big Deebo game. I almost wanted to bet him to have the most rushing yards in the game, just on the off chance that he breaks like a 99-yarder for a touchdown and then has another 30-yard. Like, he's just so explosive when they give him those jet sweeps or that weird action that they have him in the backfield for. So this is sort of a way that I think to temper that expectation with a more normal game script as opposed to going sort of crazy here. And to be very clear to the audience, this was one of Kyle's picks that I just stole.
Yeah, I really like this one. Like I said earlier, I just think the logic is good with Ayuk is more of the over-the-top threat. And we saw Deebo during the regular season. Like, he will just take underneath stuff and fly with it. So, I like this one quite a bit. Great job by you. I am going to go under 1.5 field goals for Jake Moody. As I said, I think he sucks. Two, I think that once they get down there, I think Shanahan's going to be aggressive, and I think they're going to punch it in. This is plus 142, so can attempt 2 field goals. I don't think he's going to. I think maybe he could get a chip shot in there, but that's kind of my basic logic here.
Yeah, don't disagree. With my 92nd pick in this draft, I select Kyle Juszczyk over 4.5 rushing or receiving yards. I think he's going to catch pass, and I think it'll probably be for more than 5 yards. So there you go.
I like it. I will continue with our play here. I'm going to take running back, fullback, wide receiver, tight end to win MVP at plus 195. Woof. I think if you think the 49ers are going to win, I don't think Purdy wins it. And so I'm protecting myself against a Deebo losing his mind game here. I'm protecting myself against a Kittle losing his mind game here. And obviously, I want our Colorado's favorite son to be up there holding the MVP trophy, as he should have been the regular season MVP. But yeah, I think this is good value, and you can get it at plus 195. So still really good plus odds there, and you're getting a lot of things. Plus, if for some reason Travis Kelce loses his mind and people vote him, you're still protected on that side of things as well.
Don't disagree. I'm going to take Dre Greenlaw under 8.5 tackles plus assists. I just don't think that the Chiefs are dumb enough to run into them all the time. So I think this number is really a Chiefs game plan bet more than I don't believe in Trey Greenlaw being really good at football bet.
I like it. I want to get a cross sport one in here. I know you'll appreciate this. You love a golf gamble as well.
Oh, are you doing a little waste management?
Wow. 49ers to win and Justin Thomas or Scotty Scheffler to win the Waste Management Open plus 550.
Oh, that's a terrible bet.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it, Ryan.
Listen,
give me those boys, and so I'm getting the three favorites, and you know what? We will ride together.
I don't think any of those favorites are winning the Waste Management. Unfortunately, I'd love if one of them did, but I think you should take the field if that's the other side of that bet. My next one, I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. I am going to take George Karlaftis over 2.5 tackles. This is a juice number to minus 155. But again, just some of these defensive props, like the tackles plus assists, people just must hate betting on this stuff because I feel like you can really find good numbers here. And if you're willing to take a favorite, a good way to just pad that bankroll with some W's.
Yeah, no, I don't have a strong Karlaftis takes, so I will just wish you good luck, and move right along. I'm going to take both teams to have a successful fourth down conversion. I think this plus 290. I think the 49ers are going to be aggressive. Like I said, I don't think they trust their kicker, and I think the Chiefs are going to be losing. So I think both teams are great at dialing up those like 4th and 4 plays. So I think they can both be successful here. I think that they both have enough respect for the opponent that they won't just play it conservative or lay it up here. So yeah, plus 290, both teams to convert a fourth down. Something, once again, you can be rooting for the whole game no matter what. If all your other bets are falling apart, you can still be rooting for fourth downs.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think especially with the aggressive nature of these coaches, I think this is a really solid value there. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take Deebo Samuel to have the most rushing yards. The odds are just staring me in the face. It's plus 4,000. And I don't understand why that would be. Like he could easily break one. Christian McCaffrey could easily get hurt. It's a miracle Christian's made it this far into the season. I mean, knock on wood, or he's our Greek valor god, but let's be real here. So I'm taking the flyer.
I don't hate the flyer here. I also, like, if you were like, hey, they came out in a wingback where Deebo and Christian just lined up behind Purdy every play, I wouldn't be shocked by that. And it would be awesome. And I have no idea how the hell you defend that, to be clear. The next one I want to go to, Rashee Rice, over 67.5 receiving yards. He's been great, and he's been getting more and more confidence as the playoffs have gone along. And I think that he is going to be the beneficiary here. This is not a lockdown secondary like it has been in years past. I think you can, catch the ball underneath on them, and I think Rashee Rice is going to be the beneficiary of that as they really try to, I think intelligently, are going to say, we're not letting Travis Kelce beat us. If Rashee Rice goes the F off and screws us for 100-some yards in the Super Bowl and 2 touchdowns, God bless the Chiefs. And I think then his number is a little bit low here, and I think there's some value on 67.5.
Don't disagree. I will be taking Isaiah Pacheco to record the fastest ball carrier speed in the game. He is plus 680 to do this. The best odds are Deebo Samuel plus 590. So there's a lot of value if you're willing to just take a flyer here. But yeah, I'm going to take Pacheco to just run really fast during the Super Bowl with the ball.
Yeah, Debo's your main threat here, a guy you've invested in earlier, but I don't hate it. He's at least going to look like he's running the
Yeah, and
fastest
that's what I like about
as
him
he
so
takes
much.
20 steps. You know,
He's got a really high
per
cadence. I wish we could get a
foot.
Koros watch on that motherfucker. I bet his cadence is world class.
Yeah, it's something. I'm going to go with my Rashee Rice. It goes off of that and kind of connected to the Mahomes. I'm just fading the public. I'm going under 72 and a half yards for Kittle. I think they're going to do everything in their power to stop him. I think they have obviously the best cover linebacker in Wagner here. So Kelsey under 72 and a half. I also think he's a public play. He's the guy who just shows up and hasn't really cared about football. He's going to be like, this Kelsey guy's pretty good. And he'll be taking the over here. So I will be taking the under. I'm going to fade that. And that's my next pick. That's minus 110.
Yeah, I mean I can't believe that we're just still coming up with winners at this point, but we are. Under 73 and a half total yards of all touchdowns. So when you add up all the touchdown yardage, it will be under 73 and a half yards. That is minus 110 on FanDuel. So there you go.
I'm so jealous. I have scoured FanDuel for hours and I didn't see this. Where did you find this?
Dude, I don't know what rabbit hole I'm in right now, but
I mean, I'm so proud of you. Honestly, great work by you.
It's under game props.
This falls into our game script.
Yeah.
That we've talked about. Long drives, not explosive plays. I think this is great. Yeah. I want to next take another bet that I just always like having. So second quarter, highest scoring quarter. I've talked about the second half of the Chiefs. Obviously, the second quarter, you just get to where a team could be in, at midfield when the quarter starts. It's the odds-on favorite. Vegas is no dummy, but it is markedly the odds-on favorite here. And so I think even though it's, not the crazy value play, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. Plus 135, second quarter being the highest scoring quarter in this game. Give me that one.
Yeah, a lot of history with you there. And a lot of live value there as well. I'll just say for the people out there who are still listening to this, because that is like a real play there. I think that you can, especially when the first quarter is potentially low scoring, you can find some value in just betting the over on that second quarter because they just want to take some action. So I love that bet. My next one, piggybacking right off of my last pick, I'm going to take under 35 and a half yards of the longest touchdown scored. So I just don't think there's going to be a touchdown scored over 30. That's 36 yards or longer. That is plus 106 right now on FanDuel.
This is a good bet. This goes into a corollary of profitable Super Bowl betting. If you just bet against fun, a lot of times you win.
I was going to say, yeah.
There's always a guy who's like, dude, like someone's going to break it. Think about that. No, they're not going to break it. These guys have had all season to look at these offenses. Yeah, it'd be fun if both teams traded 70-yard touchdowns. They're not going to. So I think this is a really good bet. You've cornered the fumble market. I'm going to now corner the INT market. Purdy is going to throw a pick. It's so funny. I was listening to a podcast where Dominique Foxworth was talking about how he thinks it's funny people talk about Purdy as a game manager. He's like, he takes insane risks with the football all the
I was
time.
listening to that.
He's like, he's not a game manager. He's like, he's much more Brett Favre than people realize. And he puts the ball in harm's way a
That
lot.
point was so interesting because he was just like, and Mahomes is a game manager. Like what he did last game was game managing, and you're like, yeah, you're really not wrong. Like he was just doing exactly what the game told him. He looked like Alex Smith. I mean, he was a fucking awesome Alex Smith.
At the highest level of Alex Smith. Yeah. So I think Purdy, traditionally, he's gotten very lucky. He throws a lot in traffic, and he will throw it up if he's under pressure. And obviously, the Chiefs love to blitz. I think he throws one up. It's minus 122. Purdy's going to throw a pick here.
All right. I don't disagree. I think both of these quarterbacks have the potential to throw a pick, which is why I'm more worried about your other side of this. But I'm going to just continue with our game script here. I'm just hammering it towards the end here. I'm going to take under 126 and a half total offensive plays in the game. This is minus 114. I just, again, think there's going to be a lot of running, so we're taking the under on the total plays. I have no idea what this number means, by the way, so don't be asking any questions about this. Like, this is a blind under. Like, it's juiced a little bit, so I'm just assuming that sharps have been hammering this shit, and I'm going to join the I can't imagine the public side of this being the under, so I'm going to take the other side.
Yeah. I don't see the 49ers coming out and hurry up here. So I think that's my analysis of that, and I think you're in a good spot. So we're moving into our final five here. I want to get score first and win 49ers plus 170. Talking about hammering the game script, I think they jump on them, and I think they stay up. So plus 170, give it to me.
I love it. I mean, I'm happy for you. I maybe I'll surprise everybody with a pick on the game at the end of this, just to really make it crazy. It's having said that I didn't really have a feel on it. I am going to this. I'm just leaning into myself here. Now you're really getting a peek into the mind of me taking a shit on a Sunday morning. Like, what am I going to bet on today? And so I found this thing, which is the result of the first punt to be a fair catch. It's plus 235. Talk to me about why that is.
I couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, I'm going to take that.
Yeah, that sounds correct. The only way that this hoses you is a guy lets it bounce thinking it's going to go into the end zone.
This is what we're talking about. This is what makes this game so freaking fun, is because I'm going to look at Kyle when they're lining up for this punt, and we're going to make eye contact, and we're going to both know that this is on the line. Just, invest a couple dollars into really being very happy about, or, not that sad, but you really have some rooting interest about just weird shit going on in the game all the time. Like literally all the time.
I like it. I'm going to take off the board the best player left. I'm going to take you took him on a flyer for rushing yards. I'm going to take his receiving yards. Debo to have the most receiving yards in the game is plus 440. I just think the underneath stuff and the explosiveness that he plays with, and in big games, he's a guy who just wants the ball all the time. And so they're a different offense when he's out there. And I think if they're throwing, they're feeding it to Debo here. So I like it.
I was literally, as you were saying that, I was looking up his MVP odds because that is a very tempting bet to me. But that would mean that I'm sort of taking the 49ers to win, which I'm trying to avoid doing. I'm going to take Brock Purdy plus 15.5 receiving yards versus Patrick Mahomes. This sort of plays into your under on the Mahomes passing yards, but I'm just going to take Purdy to be within 15 of him when the game ends.
Yeah, I don't hate this. I think both guys could have very similar looking stat lines, except Purdy will have thrown a pick and Mahomes will not have in my game script. But I like that. Speaking of Mahomes, I'm going to take him over 1.5 touchdowns. It's minus 140, but I just think the only thing that could screw me is Pacheco being used too much down there, or him getting in. But this is minus 140. But I just like Mahomes to throw 2 touchdowns here. I think this guy is awesome, and he's not getting out of a Super Bowl without throwing two touchdowns.
Yeah, don't disagree there. I'm going to take successful 2-point conversion, yes. I do think there's going to be a successful 2-point conversion. It is plus 270. So I like that one.
Give me Christian McCaffrey, MVP. I'm not leaving the podcast without having more Christian McCaffrey stock. Give it all to me, Ryan. It is plus 440. I know I have odds on a running back, wide receiver, tight end, but I want Christian. I'm going to be rooting for Christian. It's going to be, honestly, I might get mad when they give the ball to other people, unless it's a touchdown. It's going to be that level of rooting interest. I can't wait for him to have a huge game on a huge stage and to show people all those years he was wasted in Carolina. He was still the best running back in the league, and he gets to prove it on a big stage now. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait for my next pick to make that not come true, which will be Deebo Samuel to win the MVP at 2,500 plus 2,500. Way better odds. It's just crazy how much better the odds are. So I trust you're going with your heart. You have to. I love that you're backing your guy. It's noble. What you're doing is right. But I'm gonna bet with my wallet here instead of my heart, and I'm gonna take the value.
Deebo is undeniably cool, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome.
If someone else is going to win it, you're not going to be furious. Deebo's going to say some wild stuff up there. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. He might bring a boombox to the interview. Yeah, it would be great. And he's been there a long time. It'd just be awesome. I think he could be emotional. It could be a cool thing. Last score of the first half, Kansas City Chiefs. I do think, even though they're going to be losing, I think they're the master of sneaking field goals, like I've said. So this also goes to where Ryan has a triple fist pump. This could be my fist pump, where I'm taking the over hits, my money line still hits, and the Chiefs to score last, plus the longest field goal. Could all hit here in one fail swoop. So this by itself is minus 104. But yeah, I am going to take that.
Well, that's your last pick. Congratulations. Yes. With my last pick, since I decided that I was going to maintain neutrality, I was going to be Switzerland in this exercise. I'm going to take Mahomes to win the MVP at what is it, plus 110 or something?
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's terrible. He's plus 150. So I'm just going to take him. If the Chiefs win, I just can't believe it won't be him. So I will cover my bases there. And I actually kind of can't believe he's plus odds.
It's just because they're underdogs, right?
Yeah. So Dan, do you want to walk us through who's going to win the most money? I just saw the numbers and it is hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys all get your bets right, if you get all your bets right,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, you stand to win $10,174.
I look forward to
Ryan,
winning that.
if you win all your bets, you'll win $15,471.
Good Lord.
Just to round it out, because you guys spent $2,900, let's make it an even $3,000. Which one of your bets will you double down on?
100% on the McCaffrey 125 yards. Give me double down on that plus 270.
I'm going to double down on Mahomes' first rush direction middle. That was plus 400.
Son of a... Oh, I'm never going to be so locked into these Chiefs possessions.
That increases. Kyle, you're at $10,544, and Ryan, you're at $15,971.
Almost $16K. Man, think of what we could do.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Well, thank you for joining us on this Super Bowl journey. We'll be back to Nuggets, Avs, all that good jazz. Trade deadline, if anything happens, NBA wide or otherwise. We'll be breaking it all down next week.
Did you see the rumor that we're going to get Monte?
That would be beautiful.
We're not going to do it, but it would be awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Super producer Dan, excellent work by you. Ryan, excellent work by you. Let's all gamble on the Super Bowl together and make a bunch of money.
Okay, that sounds nice. Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Blucifer Brothers is a Crab Shell Media podcast.